The Atlanta Falcons have had 3 major redesigns of their helmets since they were founded in 1965. We're going to go over those design changes, and we're also going to talk about all the little pieces they've changed along the way, plus a few fun facts.
Yeah, and there's a bunch with the Falcons, so get yourself comfy and get ready.
The original helmets, red helmet, black Falcon logos on the side, stripes, and a gray face mask.
Yeah, so technically we can start with the 65 one, even though we're doing the Super Bowl era and above. The 65 helmet was also obviously what they were wearing in 1967.
Yeah, and they only lasted for a few years. So from 66 to 69, this is the design that they stuck with. And then they started making little tweaks over the next 2 decades, but they pretty much went unchanged. You know, we had a couple of face mask color changes, and with their color scheme, they kind of make sense. They started with a gray face mask, which we all know I can't stand.
It's pretty dull. Interestingly enough, the stripe was designed to represent the Georgia Bulldogs and the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, which that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so they pulled the red and the black from the Bulldogs and the gold and the white from Georgia Tech.
Yes.
But apparently they didn't like Georgia Tech all that much because they got rid of it just a few years after they started. And in 1975, they ditched the gold stripe.
It was probably very annoying to lay that stripe down.
The photos that we're looking at, it appears to be that each color of that stripe is a different decal. Some of the teams, even to this day, do that now, where other teams will just get one full decal stripe that has all of the stripes printed on the decal. So even way back then, they were doing separate decal stripes, which means there's like 7.
For what it's worth, the helmet shells weren't as complex as they are now, but still.
To say that they were very basic would be an understatement.
Right.
In 76, they got rid of that ugly gray face mask and they switched to white, which I wish some teams would do now.
I agree.
They're holding out. Yeah, so from 76 to 83 was kind of their 3rd design within their first major design, I would say, of still using the red helmets with the black Falcon and the stripes and white face masks now.
You know, just going back to the very basics, the Falcon logo itself was brought up by a school teacher in Georgia because the falcon is a bird of prey and it never drops its catch.
Well,
It's kind of cool.
you think the football team Falcons never drop its catch?
I'm not, no comment.
So in 1984, they had switched to a black face mask. So again, the helmet design itself isn't changing hardly at all, except for some things in the stripes and on the back of the helmet. And we've got a red helmet, black Falcon decal, and a black face mask now.
And this is the one that Deion Sanders was wearing back in '89.
Yeah, and so in 1989, when Deion Sanders was drafted by the Falcons, he was also playing for the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
In 1990, now that you were getting into the first major redesign where they got rid of the red helmets. They basically just switched the red helmets to black helmets. The decals are very similar, if not identical, and they're sticking with the black face mask too.
My least favorite of all of them, I'm just gonna say.
I don't know. I kind of like them, and I think one reason why I like them, I think it's actually my favorite design of all of them because that's when they were the dirty bird.
Yeah, okay, all right. I mean, we're both Northeast guys. That's what we knew, right?
When they went to the first Super Bowl,
Yeah.
was wearing these helmets. If you guys remember, you got Jamal Anderson with his dirty bird dance. Steve, like this?
Yeah.
Got it?
Stop it.
No? Okay. I didn't know if you remembered or not.
Vaguely, yeah.
And that's when they picked up Michael Vick, one of the dirtiest birds of all.
That's probably why I don't like the helmet.
And they played the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl and it didn't come out too well. They've actually been in 2 Super Bowls, lost them both.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, they're just going to have to try harder, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
On to the next design. They're sticking with the black helmets, black face masks, but they completely redid their logo and they have incorporated red into both the body and the feathers, as well as, I guess, a more defined F.
Yeah, that thing is tilted forward. It's way more aggressive. I would say even for the early 2000s, it was ahead of its time. I loved this design.
And they're still using it now because in 2020, they made it bigger. So apparently they liked it so much, they had to make it 30% larger. A little bit more difficult to put on the helmets. Oversized decals are no fun to apply.
Which translates to us, just more of a pain to deal with for the equipment managers, but it looks a whole lot cooler.
It does, and in this logo, you also have a silver outline.
It's a good thing they didn't make that decal 30% larger when Matt Ryan won the MVP in 2016, because he wears a medium helmet and that decal would have been enormous.
So in 2020, they made that logo bigger and they got rid of the black face mask and added a nickel finish face mask, which goes really nice with the silver outline in the decal.
It really does. And they went with that ATL with the front bumper, which is probably, to me, one of the most just coolest and current things they could have done.
Yeah, you know, and it's amazing how just a little upgrade like that can kind of help refresh the whole thing. The helmet color was changed from just a gloss black to a satin black, which is also nice. So I would say my second favorite design would be the one that they're wearing now. But if we could take that old Dirty Bird design and put it on a satin helmet, I think that might be something.
Well, hey, in 2022, the NFL finally dropped the one helmet rule. We saw some cool stuff last year. 2023, we're seeing some awesome stuff. That throwback red came back week 6 last year, 2022. That old style red reinvented on these brand new helmets looked bad. So cool. So bad meaning good, Jay.
And it's my favorite thing is to see those old designs on all the new stuff, because it really kind of brings them into a more modern era. I love the Dirty Birds helmet, black on black on black. Steve, what's your favorite?
The ones that were in the 2016, before, I mean, I'm okay with the oversized, but it was the transition to the new aggressive Falcon.
So I want to know what your favorite helmet is and why. Leave in the comments below.
Yeah, and I think it also would be interesting to know, did you watch this video because you're a Falcons fan or because you're into the gear, or both?
Well, yeah, because we're going to be doing every single NFL team.
This was fun, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this too.
Yeah, so if you like more of the equipment side of things, check out all of the other videos that we have for your favorite team.
That's right.